Ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. In front of me here is a small package with an iPhone inside. I'm sure by the thumbnail, you guys already know what this is, so let's get it opened up, see what kind of condition it's in, and hopefully we've got ourselves a cool device on an old version of iOS. Let's begin. All right, here it is. This is our iPhone 4. As you can tell, this is in the beautiful white color. I love the white iPhone 4 and 4S. It's complemented really nicely by the aluminum rail around the outside of the device. Now, the reason I bought this, it should be running iOS 4. And as far as I can tell, this is definitely an iPhone 4 because we do have that antenna line up there. Sometimes the later models of the 4 and the 4S do share the same outer characteristics, but that is one distinguishing feature that some of the iPhone 4 models had that no iPhone 4S have. So this thing's in very nice condition. The outer frame looks great. All the buttons look good. The headphone jack looks good. The rear of the device appears to be basically flawless, and the front of the device is in very nice condition as well. So let's see what happens when we try to power this on. Will it turn on? And yes, it will. We've got the old style Apple logo that is booting up right away. Very nice to see. That means that this is not a downgraded iPhone 4, which is somewhat common to see given how easy they are to downgrade. So we'll go ahead and let this turn on. While we wait, I'll give this a bit of a clean. All right, that cleaned up really nicely. Again, that front display is basically flawless. I'm not seeing any imperfections on there at all. And the rear is the same story. Okay, if you can't tell, we do have the old Apple lock screen, and of course it's iOS 6 or below, but you can tell it's either a really early version of iOS 5 or iOS 4 because we don't have the little camera shortcut and we have the thicker slide to unlock, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. And you can see this is iOS 4 because we have the iPod icon, which was replaced with the music icon in iOS 5. So let's head into settings here. We'll click on general and about, and you can see we're running iOS 4.3.3. This is a 16 gigabyte iPhone 4 and the carrier is AT&T. So very cool to get one of these devices running iOS 4. They are becoming harder and harder to find, at least the ones that have just truly never been updated. I think this is the first time that I've received a white GSM iPhone 4 on iOS 4. A lot of times the CDMA models that were released later after the initial launch are the ones that I'm able to find in the white color running iOS 4. But this one is a beautiful example of a white GSM model. It's EMC number 3850, as you guys can probably see right there. This one is in mint condition, probably one of the cleanest iPhone 4s I've ever come across, and I have had quite a few hit my desk here, and we have seen actually quite a few here on the channel. This is probably the cleanest example of an iPhone 4, and of course this one's running iOS 4, which really revolutionized the way we use the iPhone. So back in 2010, when this iPhone came out, this was the last iPhone that Steve Jobs would introduce on the stage for the Apple keynote. This thing completely changed the game. We got a complete redesign. We now have front glass and back glass. In between that is an aluminum frame, which makes this device feel so premium. Ever since the iPhone 4 here, Apple has really stepped up the game and delivered truly first-class products, not only in the sense of software and compatibility, but also the hardware and the design. This is a beautiful iPhone. Down here at the bottom, we do have that 30-pin connector flanked by the speaker and the microphone. Around to the side, we have that SIM card tray. That was not present on the CDMA models, interestingly enough, and that was added back. I believe every single 4S does have a SIM card slot. So for some reason, Apple does not include that SIM card tray for some iPhone 4 models. I could be wrong about that 4S. There may be some that don't have it, but as far as I know, from the iPhone 5 and beyond, every device does have that SIM card slot up until I think the iPhone 14 Pro and the iPhone 14 models don't have it, at least not here in the United States. Some other things Apple changed were this gorgeous display. This is now a 3.5-inch Retina display. At 326 pixels per inch, Apple claims that you are not able to distinguish those individual pixels. And I must say, even on this 14-year-old iPhone, this display looks fantastic. The colors are great. It is an LCD display. It's running at 60 hertz. And for its age, this thing looks amazing. I mean, if you were to expand this display up, it would look just like a new iPhone, just based on how the colors are represented and the clarity and the responsiveness and how smooth it is. This is a great iPhone running a great iOS. Speaking of iOS, this got iOS 4, which brought a bunch of new features, one of which was the home screen wallpaper for the iPhone and the iPod Touch. That was introduced actually on the iPad, first gen, on iOS 3.2. You could get home screen wallpapers, but not until iOS 4 was this an option on the iPhone and the iPod Touch. iOS 4 also brought multitasking, so now applications would stay open in the background. Double-click the home button, and you would find them down here in the app switcher, and you could very quickly switch between them, which was something new that Apple had not done before on the iPhone or the iPad up until iOS 4. So that uses the system memory, which this phone got a big boost on. This has 512 megabytes of RAM, the most ever in an iPhone at the time, and it allowed this phone to keep a bunch of applications open in the background. So switching between them was a breeze, and that Apple A4 chip, which was their first version of their own in-house built CPU-GPU combo, debuted here on the iPhone 4. Something else Apple introduced on the iPhone 4 is this front camera. This was the first iPhone to feature a camera here on the front. That's because iOS 4 comes with FaceTime. But you may be asking yourself, well, I don't see FaceTime here on the home screen. That's because it was not available at launch. I forget the exact version. I'll put it right there. That is when FaceTime debuted on the iPhone, and you could not FaceTime over 3G, which was the limit of this phone's connectivity. You had to be on Wi-Fi. I don't know if that persisted all the way through this phone's lifespan up until iOS 7, but I know at launch you could not do FaceTime over 3G. It just was not fast enough. Another minor change for the iPhone is the addition of this 5 megapixel lens here on the back. This was an upgrade from the 3 megapixel found on the 3GS, and this is capable of shooting HD video. In fact, we're going to head into the camera right now, and I'm going to begin recording a video. So we're going to start that here, and I'll go ahead and switch over. All right, here we are on the iPhone 4. You can see this is my main setup there. And unfortunately, I don't have my little microphone. I have this thing like dongled on with the headphone adapter. It's just a little thing there. So the audio is probably going to sound quite a bit different. And I'm sure this is going to look quite a bit different here on the iPhone 4. Got some stuff down here. Got some memory and a couple solid state drives, as well as my iFixit toolkit. So let me know, what do you guys think? How does the quality appear here on the iPhone 4? I think this is 720p. Maybe it's 480, I can't quite remember, but it appears to look pretty good on my end, at least on the small display that we're seeing here. And actually, I wonder, it looks like I can turn on the flash, and I can actually turn the flash on and off here. I did not know Apple had that here on the iPhone 4. Okay guys, sorry about that. It's me from the future here. I just want to clarify, obviously I know that the iPhone 4 has flash, but what I was trying to say is the iPhone 4's flash is able to turn on and off while you're recording video. You can't even do that on iOS 18, yet we were able to do that on iOS 4. A little bit strange. I don't know when Apple removed the capability of turning the flash on and off during live video recording, but apparently you can do it on iOS 4, and we are not able to do it here on iOS 18 some 14 plus years later. So there's your little fun fact of the day. Okay, back to the video. But that's pretty neat. So there you go. That's been a 1-minute clip here looking at the audio and the video quality coming from an iOS 4 iPhone 4. All right, and we're back here. Hope you guys got to appreciate how far the camera quality has come, or maybe you can appreciate how good this thing was for its time. Either way, this is a fantastic device, and it's super cool to get one running iOS 4. Once again, this was the last iPhone that Steve Jobs introduced, and iOS 4 was the last version of iOS before we got iCloud. So this is truly a classic phone running a very classic piece of software here. There's really not much to it. It's very simple. Texting, calling, email, Safari, music, and you could get apps and games from the App Store. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. This has been a super fun unboxing here and setup and getting to check out this iPhone 4 running iOS 4 here in 2024, 14 years after this thing came out. That's a lot of 4s. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in another one of my videos coming soon.